Good evening. it's it's Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's your boys Mike and Mish with the Mike and Mish Show. What's up, Mike?
We're about to show them how the henna knot gets around.
How the henna gets around. Mike told me that he originally thought that it said, "Hey, little thing, let me light your chemicals."
Yeah. Hey, little thing, let me light your chemicals.
Let me light your chemicals. Show how the henna mess around.
We're gonna show them how the henna knot gets around tonight.
How the henna gets around.
Everyone knows what a henna knot is.
I love that. I love that everybody has fucking lyrics of things that they screwed up their whole life. It's amazing.
I just started thinking about what my mom.
When you were in the car with your mom and you were singing out loud.
No, my mom. Salt and pepper, right?
Oh, salt and pepper.
Yeah, what a man.
Yeah.
What a man. She would say, what a honeycomb man. Don't.
What a honeycomb man. Why would she say that?
I have no fucking clue. That's what she thought they said. Swear to God. And I was dying when she told me. And when we were just saying that, henna knot gets around, it made me think about when my mom said, what a honeycomb man. And I said, what, like the cereal? You think that they're singing about a guy who's like the cereal?
What a honeycomb man. That is fucking great, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey, guys, that was fun. We're here. It's 9 o'clock. It's the Mike and Mish Show. Mission accomplished in the house. And we got a big show for you tonight. We got 3 guests on the docket. We didn't have the third guest until this afternoon when we pulled them on board for tonight. What up, everybody? We have both guys that are going to be fighting each other in Denver, Colorado on October 15th. Just a freaking week and a half away. I cannot freaking wait for this card. This card's going to be out of control, but there it is. There's your headliner. Mike Richman is fighting Isaac Doolittle for the interim light heavyweight title. I cannot wait to talk to both of these guys. Mike will come on first, followed by Isaac Doolittle. And when we are done talking to Isaac, the honey badger, we're going to have a guy that made a little history this past Saturday come on and talk about the wild debacle, whatever you want to call it, that happened in the main event Saturday night, BKFC 30 in Monroe, Louisiana. Juggernaut Hunt, Lorenzo Hunt will be on tonight to talk about it all. Look at that freaking guy, man. He knows how to sell a show, that's for sure. That was crazy. Mike, before we talk to these guys, what were your thoughts on this wild series of events that happened in that event?
So the beginning of the main event are we talking about, or are we talking
I'm talking that whole main event as a whole. I'm going to tell you right now, when he went down and he flipped and he looked dead on the floor, I did not know what to think at all. And I stood up from my couch and I said, no fucking way this ends like this. What is going on here? That something fishy was going on in my eyes, because it didn't look like anything that happened in that little sequence would have put a man unconscious. It just blew my goddamn mind. But then they're standing here and like Lorenzo's on the other side of the ring. He's yelling, don't do this in front of your people. Don't do this in front of your town. Blah, 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 blah. A few good minutes goes by and like I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. Now all of a sudden both guys are standing in the middle of the ring and Dan Miragliotta's going, we're going to restart this thing. And then you hear Miragliotta say out loud, I didn't take a point. In between all the fucking.
It was in between round 1 and 2 that he said it.
Yeah. He says, I didn't take a point because the punch didn't land. The one that Lorenzo clearly threw on the floor, that was wild. But thoughts on this, Mike?
Well, my thoughts are going to be very similar to mostly every single person that has actually seen this clip over and over again. Lorenzo definitely shouldn't have swung on the ground. That was absolutely
for sure
wrong. He shouldn't have done it. He knows better. I don't know what happened there. We'll talk to him. We'll ask him. Henry was not knocked out. Nothing from what I can see shows him getting hit and getting knocked out. he did like 3 different things after the punch landed or would have landed. He did like 3. He blocked afterwards. He put his hand out, brought it back in.
Yeah. And then he flipped to his
picked
belly.
His head back up and turned this way. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I don't know how this can go on like this. This is crazy. And then he was out for a while. And then he got back up and fought. Okay. I mean, he fought for a while. Pretty good too. I mean, he seemed like he was with it. So,
you know who I think we're going to try to get on the show now, because I know he'll come on the show and he'll talk to us because he's awesome. And we talk to him at every event we go to. Big Dan Mergliata. I think it's a good time to invite him.
Yeah.
We might not be able to get him on this week, but yeah, I agree with some of the comments here. Susan Walker, I'm not sure. Do you feel like he did swing? And everybody knows that. It doesn't matter if it didn't land.
The most that could happen is what? They're going to take a point from him?
He would take a point. That would be the most that can happen. He didn't land.
Ultimately, he lost by TKO. So.
He lost by TKO. So, Susan, what would you have liked to have seen happen? Him get warning or point taken away or what? He did throw an illegal strike. That's not a disqualification. I don't think, because it never landed.
Yeah.
He should have known better. He was acting in the heat of the moment, I think. We're going to talk to him and find out about this. I want to bring up this comment by our boy Ryan Perez over there at Slaughterhouse. Lorenzo is a walking promo reel. He really is, man. And then he hit that earth is flat, God is black, and ain't no champ unless I say so.
Yeah.
He knows how to draw an audience.
He knows how to rile some people up, that's for sure.
All right. So Susan would have liked to have seen a point. Yeah, that's fair. I would say that.
Yeah,
it's fair, especially because in those pre-fight, briefings that they get from the referees, they go over the rules in the back and they let them know if you swing at a guy on the ground that is attempting to strike a downed opponent, and we could take a point, or it's grounds to lose a point. Whatever.
Yeah, you're liable to get.
Yep. So he knows, and we're going to talk about that. But the fact is, it wouldn't have made a difference in the fight because I don't believe it landed. And that whole thing was a crazy theatrical show at the beginning there. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. It was just wild to even try to.
It was a show. Dude, there's no way he was not knocked out. I will stand by that for the rest of my life. Yeah. There's no fucking way. I watched that thing like 50 times to try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I can't rule on the side of he got knocked out, because even if the punch touches him a little bit, it's not a lot. So that was enough to knock him clean cold for like 1 minute plus. And then later on, he's getting fucking smoked by punches. Doesn't even knock him out cold. Not even the punch that landed at the end knocked him out like that. And that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was
he was crazy. Winning. He was winning. He was doing good in the fight.
He was.
I just cannot. No, there's no way. I really don't think that he got knocked out. And I'm sorry. I think Quentin's a great guy, but I just don't buy that. I don't buy it. And I think
it's hard to believe. It really is hard to believe.
I almost feel bad for admitting that I don't believe that, because I don't think that Quentin's a bad guy, but that's what I saw. And that's I'm sticking to my guns. Sticking to my guns.
Man, it was a great night of fights. Hold on a second. I'm getting a message. He said,
so the Bobo fight was.
Hold up a second. Oh no, continue talking. I'm trying to find
Yeah. You're reading the text out loud. I'm not sure if you noticed. You're live on air. So the Bobo fight was way faster than I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be a little bit of a slugfest going on in that fight. It would have been nice to see Bobo get, a little bit of time in there, against Big Ben. I was saddened by that, I have to say. Nobody wants to see Bobo get knocked out in 19 seconds. No one wants to see that shit.
So here's the thing about that. It was tough to see. We all love Bobo, but it is what it is. And Big Ben is one of the most seasoned veterans that this sport has seen come into the sport. Mike Richman, I just sent you a new link to your Facebook Messenger. Try that one. He's in the comments.
Yeah,
I
I
love this
seen
guy.
him. I seen him. He's on top of it. I seen him.
All right. No, but the thing was like it's what pissed me off about the whole thing is how hung up on the fact that they were 290 pounds and 285 pounds going into this fight. Like I just don't understand like why anybody had a problem with Big Ben saying I'm going to put this entire heavyweight division on notice. Who is that?
I don't know.
That is not Mike Richman. All right, let's bring this guy.
Let's bring him in. Bring him in.
Let's bring this guy. We got the man who's going to be fighting Isaac Doolittle. Everybody, here he is, Mike Richman. Look at that guy.
165, baby, right here.
There he is.
It's a fucking sexy Mexi. It's fucking John Cass.
Yeah, that's Rico Suave. Da-da-da-da.
Dude, welcome, gentlemen. Is this one of your fighters, Mike?
Well, we train together. Yeah, absolutely. Train at the same gym, but he's also, one of my managers here at the club. We're at Rhino right now. There's good old Joey.
Hey, Joey.
Hey, man. I'm always at work when we do it at this time.
Yes, sir. We know.
You're never not working, Mike.
Confessions of a Gentleman.
Dude, last time we saw you in a ring, we all know when the last time we saw you and the last time we talked to you and all the stuff that's going on in between your last fight to now. I think it's kind of funny that the last time we saw you fight was in Wichita, Kansas, in the main event for the #1 contender at 175. You win that impressively. In the co-main event that same night, Isaac Doolittle wins the #1 contender spot at 185. In an impressive but different kind of, it was a dogfight between him and Jared Warren. Now all of a sudden, that was back in April. Here we are in October, and you guys are fighting each other.
Yeah.
Wow, right?
Get out that way, right? Obviously, I want to still go for that 175-pound title, right? I think how this kind of all unfolded was, things falling apart with the Lorenzo and I situation, fighting, and then Ricky wasn't going to be fighting till later in the year. Obviously, they want him to fight in South Florida, right?
There he is.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think I was covering the mic. I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. Yeah. Did you hear a word I said, or do I need to?
No, you were saying something about Francisco Ricky getting held to the end of the year.
No, I mean, let's be real. He's a South Florida guy. They're always going to want him to fight in that South Florida area, whether it's Hollywood or Miami. They're going to want him to bring in fans. So ideally, I doubt they're going to send him out somewhere else to fight or defend that interim title.
I don't know if you knew this or if it was public knowledge, but when we did a fight companion for not the last event, the one before, and Francisco Ricky and Yuli Diaz jumped on with us and shoot the shit with us for a little bit, and Ricky told me, Mike, what was the injury? Did he tear his ACL or he tore his meniscus or something like that?
Right? Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, he told us that he had a knee injury that was going to hold him out probably for the rest of 2022 because he tore something in his knee.
I did. I heard that some sort of meniscus injury. I heard that in some interview. So I obviously took that in consideration as well. So I'm like, all right, cool. If I wait, I'm not going to fight Ricky till the end of the year, if not early next year. It could be a Knucklemania show. They seem to like to throw that every February, around Super Bowl time. And then about 7 weeks, 6.5, 7 weeks out from this date, they came to me and was like, hey, do you want to fight Doolittle at the time they told me it was going to be for the official title. You want to fight Doolittle for the 185-pound title? And I'm like, obviously I want to go up there and I want to win, and I want to win titles. So if I have to go up and take risks like I've been preaching and saying that I want to do, ideally the only reason I want to go to 85 is I want to fight Lorenzo and I wanted to take his fucking belt from him. But when they offered it, that in consideration with when I probably wouldn't fight Ricky next. I thought it over. We talked to my team, and I think I decided, I'm like, yeah, let's fight. Let's go out there. Let's get this title. Let's put on another great performance and just kind of keep adding to kind of my bare knuckle legacy that I'm trying to put together before I leave the sport. I guess my biggest concern would be is I understand that these 85ers are big fucking dudes, and every time I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take a risk. So my biggest worry, I guess, initially was, all right, cool. I go in there, I beat Doolittle, I get the official title or interim or whatever you guys want to call it. Then I'm stuck up there and I got to defend and fight, and I got to defend another bigger dude and another bigger guy and another bigger guy, which I'm totally for that. But then it delays me dropping back down and then fighting Ricky at 75. So those are obviously things that I took in consideration, because I still want to go down there and fight at 75 and then work my way back down to 65. So yeah, I mean, those are just things that I thought about when they offered it to me about 7 weeks out.
Now, Doolittle is got a pretty impressive run going. He's 4-0. You talk about the size, getting matched up with him is probably the most similar sized 185er they have on the roster, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What have you thought about Doolittle's run so far in the BKFC, and how do you see this fight playing out with you and him?
Just to elaborate on the height size, he's actually slightly shorter than me, so he's kind of
really?
He's like another Dakota Cochran style of fight for me, but even Dakota was probably my height, maybe slightly shorter, maybe. But I was next to Doolittle a couple of times, and we shook hands after that last show together. Super nice, respectful guy, and he was slightly shorter than me, not by much. His style is just that blue collar, right? That blue collar, gritty, fucking get inside, wear all your arms, dirty box, overhook, underhook, collar tie, punch, attack, and try to really wear you down. Very bold type of mentality. So, I've fought that style before. I don't want to discredit him. He's on a run. He's 4-0. We don't need to dive into the how good his opponents were compared to how good my. We don't need to do that. But he is still 4-0. But I fought bulls already that kind of have that same type of style in Brickles and in Dakota Cochran. Obviously, Stamps was more of a long, rangy, finesse, explosive style fighter. And I'm not saying Doolittle isn't explosive, but I've seen his style before, and I think his style is going to be what everyone wonders, right? Let's just get Richman into the third, fourth, and fifth round. Let's wear out his arms. Let's see if he can still have pop later in the fight. That's going to be the story of my bare knuckle career till I go 5 rounds, right? That's what everyone's going to say, and I get that. And I'm just going to go out there and implement my game plan like I always do, and it's just going to be another battle of can his style stifle mine, or vice versa.
Why do you think people think that you can't make it 5 rounds when you clearly have a history in MMA?
I think I have a history in MMA of my punching power, not being as strong later in the fight, right? I'm not getting knockouts later in the rounds. I've had some split decision wins in MMA and split decision losses, but I don't think I have any knockout wins in the third round in MMA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's something that they look at it as, all right, if when Mike starts to tire, he doesn't have as much pop in his shots anymore. And maybe that's what it is. His counters won't be as sharp. He won't be able to, and, entries won't be as clean and as quick. I think it's just more of take away my explosiveness. Let's see how he handles the dogfight later on. I guess we'll see what happens. But I think that is what it really kind of boils down to. You got to look for something, right? If I haven't gone the distance yet, then that's got to be the next thing. Wait till he goes the distance, right? Knockout Doolittle, that's going to be the stance in the next fight, and the next fight, and the next fight. I'm just going to go out there and continue to try to put people away. It's not like I'm going out there going, I need to knock him out in the first or second round. It just plays out the way it plays out.
Right.
Mike, right before we brought you on, and this has nothing to do with like your fight at all, I wanted to ask you about this past Saturday night. And you're probably going to think I'm going to ask you about the main event. We'll do that in a second. But after Ben Rothwell knocked out Bobo O'Bannon, he put the entire heavyweight division on notice, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said it. And then everybody on social media and on the internet is all fucking up in arms because this guy weighed 290 pounds and he's putting right. What does that like? Are these people fucking stunad or what? It would be like if you won. This is the way I tried to explain it to somebody. I go, why do you guys have a fucking problem with somebody saying that I'm going to go down and put this whole division on notice? Wait, I said if Mike went out and beat Isaac in Denver, and then after the fight was like 185 ain't for me. I'm going down to 165 and I'm putting that whole fucking division on notice. 165, I'm coming for you. I don't think anybody would have a problem with you saying that. But for some reason, when Ben said that the other night, everyone's all fucking flustered. What's your thoughts on that?
I think everyone is all worked up because they want to come up with some reasoning behind, oh man, we need to discredit this fucking monster somehow. Oh, he wasn't the 265 limit. Well, okay, it wasn't for a title, and technically, boxing you can you can go over 265. So that's what it really boils down to. To me, it just comes down to, and it's the handlers of some of the other heavyweight fighters that are like, oh, well, but he didn't do this. No, he looked like a fucking monster. Okay, look like a fucking monster, and there's no way him cutting down to 265. What do you weigh? 299. If he cut down to 265, that dude's still gonna be a monster. And I fucking have preached it a long time. This is fist fighting, and I'm very confident in fist fighting any fucking man. Whether if I have to go up and wait and scrap and throw down in a fist fight, I would not want to fucking fist fight that dude at 265. Right, I would not want to. He's that like so. Yeah, he did put the heavyweight bare knuckle division on notice because that dude's a killer. Now you're gonna have to have a super duper granite chin, I think, and great head movement to maybe wear him down. I guess if that's your route that you're going, but yeah, he definitely fucking. I was like, holy shit.
My thing was to the people that were saying this was that yes, he's 40. That was like some people were saying, well, he's 40. He can't cut weight like that anymore. I'm like, he made 265 11 months ago at 40 years old. His last MMA fight, his 53rd pro MMA fight at 265 was 11 months ago, and he made weight. So I don't know why you guys think he can't do that, now. Anyways.
The part that kills me is just before we move on, Bobo agreed to it. It's not like this was Bobo's manager agreed to it. It's not like this was a prize. Not like, oh shit. He's like, from my understanding, they knew that this was going to be open heavyweight. You can as much as you want type of deal. Now, of course, if he wants to go fight for the heavyweight title, from my understanding, he has to be 265 or less. But like they agreed upon it. He went out there, destroyed a dude who's a tough dude, and then now, once again, it's that whole UFC fighter or Bellator fighter coming to bare knuckle, and now I got to be up and like, oh man, he's like, you got to look for reasons why you to hate on someone like that because some people have a hard time with these bigger names coming into the sport and the promotion. It's like, dude, until you show me a bare knuckle fighter who that's all they've done is bare knuckle boxing and their whole career. They didn't have an MMA career. They didn't have a boxing career. They were just brought up during bare knuckle. Then you might have a right to complain about these big names coming in. But at the end of the day, the majority of these bare knuckle fighters were aspiring MMA fighters, were aspiring boxers. Sorry, your fucking career didn't elevate to where it was. I guarantee you, if you were one of those aspiring MMA fighters and you got to the UFC, you would be like, nah, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna go do this bare knuckle thing for a while. No, not at all. But it's like there's so much hate for that. It bothers me. I'm not even an upper tier MMA dude. I was kind of right in the middle. My time in Bellator, I had a good run, but I think there's a lot of that. Honestly, there's a lot of, oh shit, this big dude from the UFC came in. Let's hate on him.
Yeah, there is a lot of resentment towards the fighters, and I think it helps a lot. It really does. A lot of people are like, oh, was that worth it? Bringing that person in? Like if they don't do too good or if they feel like they got paid too much. And I'm like, no, it's worth it because you're bringing eyes to the sport, man. Don't you want to be seen? Don't you want this to grow?
Just fucking like what Bellator did, bringing on bigger names. You got to elevate guys like your Michael Chandler to become big stars and going to the UFC. I mean, okay, BKFC is doing a similar model. Let's bring some bigger names. Let's draw some more eyes. Let's get some more sponsorships. Let's get some more viewers. To continue to hate on that, you're ignorant as fuck.
Yeah.
That.
No, man, it is crazy. Whatever they could do to elevate this new sport, everyone should just pump the brakes on all the complaints and just let it ride, because everything they're doing so far is making the sport grow at an astronomical level. I mean, rate, and it just keeps on growing. And I can't wait to see what is next. But before we finish up with you tonight, we need to talk about the main event from the other night. What were your thoughts on the whole sequence of events in that main event fight between Hero and Hunt? It was one of the strangest main events that I think I've ever seen in any sport. That first sequence on the floor, to the break in action, to the restart of the fight. What is a veteran like yourself?
I initially thought the fight was going to be over, right? I thought it was going to be like either a win via DQ. I thought maybe that was possibly going to be it, via DQ. And I'm like, all right, maybe they'll just call it a no contest. I don't know. You can't really say it's an accidental illegal shot. Granted, the biggest thing of it was, oh, he didn't hit him that hard. Yeah, I mean, you saw the replay, didn't hit him that hard, and it was a weird reaction to the punch, but it seemed like it did at least graze his chin, so the intent of the shot was still there. So my number one guess was, oh, shit, this is going to end via DQ, and Henry's going to win. But then obviously he got up, and then they're like, no, we're going to keep fighting. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, all right, fair enough. I guess we just fucking shoot from the hip sometimes. Whatever. And it was an entertaining fight, you know. Then I think like Henry kind of got his wits and head behind him, and was popping that jab like he does, taking some angles. I think he was flustering Hunt a little bit, and vice versa. But then there was another shot. What was it, the second or third round? I believe it was
second round, maybe.
Yeah, second. The stretch of the fight. First thing, it just seemed like it was forever, right? Because it's all the delays and this and that. But it was like the second or third, Henry was winning, and then all of a sudden, Hunt came back with a combo, and then you didn't really see how clean the shot was, and then Henry went down, and I didn't think he was going to stay on the floor, but he did. And then I'm like, oh man, that was a weird roller coaster ride of a fight to watch. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it certainly was odd. I can say that was probably, way up there on the list of odd fights, I'll tell you.
Dude, it's so fucking weird how this one series of events has so many different opinions on it, because you could just go right to our comments right now, and like one guy says if he acts like a quitter, he acted like a quitter, he didn't touch him. And then 2 comments down says, how could he be a quitter if he got back up and continued to fight? You're right. I don't know. It's like in one case, it looks like he was acting.
I mean, it could have
2
been
seconds later, he's back. I mean, I don't know.
You don't know what's going through the fighter's mind at that moment. He could have been a battle of both, right? He could have had a moment where, like, man, I could really fucking go out and get this title via DQ, and then maybe fight him again later. Maybe he was thinking to himself, like, I need to get the fuck out. Get the fuck up. I don't want to win like this. I mean, you don't know what was going through Henry's mind, whether he was a quitter or not a quitter. Maybe the initial point was maybe he wanted to buy some time to recollect his thoughts. Who knows? Only Henry knows, right? But he got up and the fight continued, and then it was just kind of like I was excited, like, oh shit, they're gonna get after it. And then the second round, then it was just like, oh man, you ain't fucking worried about that with me though. I promise you that.
Nah, man. So he's got that belt now. I like you mentioned it earlier about this fight with Isaac that you don't know if it's for the interim or the official. I know that David Feldman said a couple weeks ago on the podcast that it would be for the official title. So who knows? We'll find out when we get to Denver, I guess. But with that said, we always like catching up with you, man. We always got something fun for the Marine. And we got a little thing called If I Were a Rich Man. Mike, do the song.
Na 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 na.
All you gotta do. These are quick, real quick. If you were,
Baby, You're a Rich Man. That's a classic right there.
What's that?
Fat Boy's a hip hop artist from like that.
Yes. Yeah. We couldn't hear you because Kyle was talking over you.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Hey, first one. If you were a rich man, what are you buying?
I'd probably buy myself like a dope ass house, probably a $2 million house. Yeah, for sure.
You know what?
I throw like Dan Bilzerian parties and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Bilzerian, yeah, but kids aren't there for sure.
Yeah, I asked a bunch of people this question today, and 90% of them say land. I'd buy land.
Yeah, I'd want like a dope ass house with a shit ton of land, like straight Yellowstone style, where I just like own it.
Number 2.
What would you start?
People tell me all the time if I was rich, I should start my own strip club. But it's just tough business to start if you don't got that big backing. So, what would I start? I don't know. Find some smart dude to come up with a cool app and pay him to make me a bunch of money.
There you go. Cool app. Here we go. What would you end?
What would I end? Fuck, I don't even know. That's a tough one. I don't know. I have to pass on that one. That's like some like politically correct type shit right there.
Yeah, it could be.
And the last one for you. Here you go.
Who would you disappear?
Oh shit.
Google's disappear.
Google's disappeared. Oh man. I'm gonna pass on that one. That one sounds.
There we go. He's not going to end anyone or anything. There it is. Mike the Marine Richman.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Stone Cold Killer.
Yeah.
Still a nice guy at heart.
Yeah.
There he is. Follow him on his socials at the bottom. Go check his club out. Take a second, say some final words, bro.
Yeah. You know, I'm back home where I started in the industry, Spearman Rhino, back here in Minneapolis. Running this club. I got like I said, fucking sexy Mexi, fucking John Castaneda, fucking
Johnny and
Joey, Olympic fucking Greco-Roman McGee over there. But yeah, man, I got a cool team over here, man. I'm super excited about next Saturday, getting it on against a tough opponent, Isaac Doolittle. Nothing but respect for him. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna, do what gladiators do, and we're just gonna go there and try to finish each other. So I hope everyone enjoys it.
There it is. And you know what? I forgot to mention, you're not the only. Smith Brothers Combat Sports got a bunch of dudes on there. They got you, they got Bubba McDaniels, they got Jake Lindsay, they got Melvin Gillard. So it's going to be Smith Combat heavy up in there.
You got a big roster of dudes on there, so it'd be pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Smith Brothers heavy out there. We're all going to be out there. We'll see you in Denver, and I'm sure we're going to enjoy the show. Thank you for coming on, bud.
All right, brother. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, later.
Later. All right, Mike.
Look at this.
Listen.
All right, look at.
Yes. Isaac Doolittle says he keeps trying the link and it's not working. I
wonder what's going on with the links today.
Can you send? Try to send. I'm going to message him back and say that Mike
what's going on with these links today, huh? Freaking who made these links?
Is sending you another link, but in the meantime, send him another link.
Can you believe the nerve of these links? They're ruining the show for me, for you, for everybody watching, and Mike Richman too.
Yeah, Mike's awesome, dude. He's a fun guy to come on. And I bet you he runs a tight club there, guy. What do you think?
I was, we were talking earlier about what he would start, and I believe we said strip club, but in my fantasy, I ran one of the strip clubs. See, Mike Richman started a whole strip club thing, and then I fantasized about running one of the strip clubs myself. Like, hey, Mike's over there in the Northeast, corridor of the Richmond strip club chain.
Mike and Mish running the strip club.
I just pictured myself slow motion, like shooting money all over the place. Even though I work there, somehow I'm still shooting money out. I don't know. Whatever.
Hey, somebody in the comments says they lost audio. Can you guys hear us?
Vince Anderson said that.
And in the meantime, guys, make sure you're checking out these cool ass shirts that me and Mike are wearing, comfortable as hell, and get your ass over to www.guerrillawarfareapparel.com.
Don't do it now. Do it right after this.
Do it after the show.
Yeah.
Unless you have,
or do it now and come right back. Or if you have two screens, you can do it.
Isaac's calling me. I'm going to answer.
I just called you. I just sent him the linkage. I wonder what's happening with StreamYard.
Mike, talk to the people about guerrilla warfare, and I'm going to talk to him for a second.
All right, listen up. This is what you got to do. All right, you got to go to www.guerrillawarfareapparel, and now there is gorillas on the shirt, but it's not spelt gorilla like the animal, like the warfare. You understand? So get over there. Promo code Mike and Mish, 10% off. You get some badass shirts from some badass peeps. You go on their page today. Who was wearing their shorts today? I saw somebody. Oh, it was
Rampage BJJ.
Yes, that's right. Is. I know who she is. I've seen her around.
Why do you know who she is, Mike?
Because I follow her on Instagram. BJJ, man. Duh. Why else would I follow her? So yes, get over there. You can get the NWA font, but in GWA. Still haven't figured out what NWA means, but someone will figure it out one day. Look on the back. If I don't knock my headphones out, stay violent, stay violent. So we're having a little bit of issues here with this stupid ass links from StreamYard. Did he get my link? Did he get my message?
Yeah, dude, none of those links are working. So
he said, I don't know if I have enough internet where I'm at.
Yeah, it has to. I don't know.
He's got a thin band. His band is too thin, too weak.
You know what? I just sent him a message back. I couldn't even FaceTime with him because
that's bad.
It must be his,
Kansas or something.
Yeah, he's in like, you know what it is? It's probably fucking windy.
Let me tell you something about Kansas wind. We went there for like 3 days or 4 days, and there wasn't a single second of any day where there was not wind blowing all over the place. I wanted to get out of there immediately. I got to tell you.
Hey, earlier in the comments.
Here's what I found.
What the hell? You know what? I think when you said that, it made my watch go off.
Yo,
or something I said
earlier in the comments.
Slaughterhouse
said that you might as well call me Saint Nick because I'm gifting everyone in December. What?
What is he talking? Okay, send me a link and I'll talk shit with y'all.
I'll send him. Yeah, go ahead, send him a link. I mean, only if Saint Nick is going to drop some gems here on here live. If
we
not,
get you
we
in
got
here
Lorenzo.
for about 10 minutes,
dude. My thoughts are right on par with Mike Richman about that whole weight thing. Did you agree with what he said? And while he was talking about that in the comments, Big Ben, not Big Ben Rothwell, Big Ben, our Big Ben, says, who do you think could beat Ben Rothwell in that heavyweight division? I'm going to tell you right now, he is a tall order for fucking anybody in that weight division. And I think that includes the champ as well. I believe him and Arnold would be an absolute war. I honestly think that, Alan Belcher may be too small. He's clearly talented enough and he's got power in his hands and he can land his shots. He's very precise. When he throws, he lands. That's one thing for sure with Alan Belcher. He knows how to throw a punch and land one. Big Boy says Mark Godbeer would be a good one. Godbeer would be fun. It's just
Belcher is small, very small compared to him.
Yeah.
Very. But
I mean, Big Ben says Greg Hardy. Now, I don't know if Greg Hardy could beat Ben Rothwell, but it would be a fun fight because of the same damn size. Okay, I'll give you that much.
I mean, Frank Tate's huge, and he knocked out Frank Tate. Frank Tate is massive. I remember the first time we met him, I was like, this dude is fucking gigantic. I could not believe how big he was. When we saw him, I was like, I didn't even know this guy was this big. Like, I looked at the picture, I didn't even pay attention to like his height. But when I saw him outside, I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Kevin Smith is in the comments. We just talked about Smith Brothers. There's Smith Brothers heavy on this card coming up, but he says he's got a guy named Alonzo Butler who's ready for Ben. Strega 666. The Strega 666 is Warren Thompson.
Strega. You know what that is? And
what is
it's
that?
Like an Italian like folklore, like a witch or like a more like a ghost. I think, and she like comes in your window at night when you can't sleep. You know, when sleep paralysis or something. I think that's what the strike is, maybe. But I know it's some kind of monster from like Italian folklore. Some kind of like fucking crazy woman, a wraith or something. Yeah, that's what it is, a wraith.
A wraith. Now, it's like, I mean, fucking Warren Thompson. I think Warren Thompson is a tough dude in a really good skilled fighter.
Yeah,
and
he's a
methodical hell of a show. He put on a good show with Art Parker, and he was fucking cracking Art Parker like crazy. But I want to, dude, those guys were like 220 pounds, weren't they? I just think that like You know what they need to do? And since BKFC is going around, just kind of doing their own thing anyway, and, more power to them. It's a new sport. I know we're in our 5th year, but it is still a new sport, and they're still refining the sport. And like we had talked a couple months back, we were talking about, like, now that they're in their 5th year, maybe it's time to take a step back and try to look at certain things that they could change about sport or fix about sport or add. And I don't know about you, but I think adding a 206 to 235 division would be fantastic. And then you add and then heavyweight, you call it cruiser heavy or whatever you want to call it. Cruiser heavy 206 to 235 or 225, and then heavyweight 226 to 265 or 266, and then super heavy if they can do a super heavy above that. I don't know why they couldn't just add 2 new weight classes. And I know that a lot of commissions in the United States, I don't know how they work in anywhere else, but in the US, a lot of the commissions are going off of MMA. They're like MMA commissions that are sanctioning these things. So they got to go with the MMA weight classes. I don't know if that's going to be forever, but with these guys throwing bare hands, man, the jump from if you're a 220-pound heavyweight scrapping with a 280-pound heavyweight, it's just too big. It's too big of a difference. A weight class in between cruiserweight and heavyweight, like a cruiser heavyweight or cruiser heavy or whatever you want to call it, that would be fucking fantastic.
No, I agree. I think that should happen. I think it would be a little better instead of having like a crazy fight at someone who's 295 and someone who's 215. Like that's insane. But usually people don't fight from that weight, a heavyweight, although it has happened. Both people were like at the very low end of the heavyweight, division,
Right.
or they just cut down at 205. So it's, no one ends up doing it. So
you can think about that right now. Think about that right now. Like when Trujillo and Tomahawk, whatever, Townsend fought, they were like 219 pounds fighting heavyweight. You got them two. You got Alan Belcher, who could sit pretty in a 206 to 225 division. Chris Sorrow, Warren Thompson, Art Parker. These are all guys. Jay Fish, Joey Beltran. You know what I mean? Like these are all guys that would really put together a weight class like that. We got a surprise guest before we talk to the juggernaut. Let's see what this crazy man has to say to us. The slaughterhouse boxing god himself, the cheat code, the BKFC cheat code. Ryan Perez, what's up, dude?
What's up, boys?
Been a long time.
Hello.
What's happening?
Hanging out, enjoying a good podcast of Mike and Mish.
Nice.
Yeah, we try. So you watched the first part. What do you think of this Mike Richman versus Isaac Doolittle fight coming up?
My personal opinion, I think Mike Richman's got that in the bag.
Any reason other than just your personal opinion?
He's just a good striker. He's really fast for that weight class. And I think he just has overall better skill set than that guy he's fighting.
All right. So since we got you on here and this is a surprise visit, let's shoot from the hip here. You got any news on Jared Grant?
I do. Word on the block is Jared will be back in December.
Hey. So the eye was not as bad as we all thought it was going to be at the beginning.
It was pretty fucked up. I mean, the good thing was that Jared's a very germaphobe, freak type of I want to get healed fast type guy. So he went straight to the hospital. He didn't play with it. He didn't take any risk. He stayed there 2 days, and he just made sure that they treated him. And he didn't he took the steps necessary to make sure his eye wasn't fucked.
Now you have you now have a champion in house, Britton Beltran.
Yep.
But you got Joey Beltran, who's going to be fighting Houston Alexander coming up, right? He's been training at Slaughterhouse. When did this fight get signed? And did it happen today? And they announced it today?
I mean, we've been negotiating it for like, I would say like a month now.
Really?
Yeah, just behind the scenes to make sure, Joey was on board and Joey was, content to take that type of fight and, go to someone's backyard and do what he got to do. I think it's a good fight for Joey. I think, being that they're both, older, it's a better fight than there's some other heavyweights out there for Joey's comeback. So I think that's a good opponent for him.
And this is at heavyweight.
Yeah, it's 205.
It's 205, so it's cruiserweight.
Yeah, cruiserweight. Yeah, Joey's gonna fight at 205.
Wow. So, man, there you go. We were just talking, dude. Now you being, deep in the game, boxing for a long time, with bare knuckle boxing, this is not MMA. So
no.
Why wouldn't they add another division? Like what we were just saying before you came on, I said, I don't know why they wouldn't just add a division right above cruiserweight, below heavyweight, from like 206 to 225 or 206 to 230 or whatever, just for those lower end heavyweights, because you got these 220 pounders fighting 270 pounders and it's fucking insane.
I think at 220, 270, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage being the 270 guy. Like, I know we all saw this guy, Ben Rothberg, come here and smash Bobo real quick or whatever. But I think if you really, Bobo, like, nothing against Bobo. He's a great guy. He's a great fighter. He's tough. But, like, he's not like a cream of the crop bare knuckle. I mean, he's a great bare knuckle, like, boxer. He's not the A-side fighter. You know what I mean? So I think until Ben Rothberg fights a real A-side heavyweight that's not intimidated and is actually going to move, where they're not going to sit in. Bobo, got caught sitting in front of him early in the fight. You know what I mean? But if he gets in there like with an Arnold Adams, who's not going to sit still, who's going to move around and pop that jab, to be that big, that takes a lot of energy to carry that body around. A lot of people talk about, can you go 5 rounds? Oh, I fought MMA 5 rounds. But let's keep it real. MMA, if you're on the ground for 3 of that 5-minute rounds, yeah, it's tough on your body, but they're not holding each other super tight for 3 minutes down there. They're waiting for the guy to make a move so they can make a move. It's like a chess match where bare knuckle is action for 2 minutes. It's a different type of, adrenaline rush. So I feel like if you got that 280, you're kind of at a disadvantage.
His name's Rothwell, right? Not Rothwell.
No, I have no idea what his name is. I don't. if I don't work with you and I don't train you, like, I don't know what your fucking name is. I just know he's a really big dude that had a really cringy ending to his interview. That's all I remember.
That's kind of been like that's been his trademark, like his whole career.
Yeah, that was cringy though. I was like, what is he doing? This is not WWE.
Now, what about our boy Brian Duran? Has he got a fight coming up?
Santa Claus is bringing him back in action too. So
back in December.
Yeah, December. Howard. A lot of them. There's gonna be a lot of Slaughterhouse guys out there.
You were breaking up there for a second, but I'm assuming that you said this is at Hollywood Hard Rock, and you guys are going to be Slaughterhouse heavy. Yeah,
it's going to be heavy. I'm bringing 2 new guys into bare knuckle. I'm going to bring a guy named Rambo. He's a 125er, 125 or 135 or whatever. But he was like, top-notch boxer in the amateurs out here in Florida. And I've watched the kid grow up, and we've worked together. He's fought Jared in the amateurs. Like, the kid's tough as nails, so I'm bringing him in, and then I finally decided to bring in my ace. So I'm bringing in my ace to bare knuckle, so that should be very interesting. He's already called out Palomino and Chad Mendez, so should be interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, because someone interviewed him. They asked him like, "Hey, who do you want to fight?" He's like, "Palomino, Chad Mendez." He's overzealous and very quickly.
You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if you're getting too far from the Wi-Fi or what.
Better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but you're pausing a little bit your screen because you were good a second ago. But all right.
Hey, who was your ace? Who's your ace? Go.
No. My ace is Bryce Henry.
Bryce Henry.
He's 5-0 as a professional boxer. His nickname is Baba Yaga. So like every time I've ever heard of a guy like tell me, oh, I got a killer, I got a guy, I bring my Baba Yaga in there to handle business.
Are you still getting fight offers, even though you keep ruining all of David Feldman's plans every time? Because last time we saw you, we were in Albuquerque, and
that's not my fault. That's Nate Shook's fault.
And Jeremy Smith was not supposed to go in there and smack that dude around.
Mm-mm. And neither was Gogo.
Yeah, Gogo too. You know, it was cool. We got Gogo on a couple weeks ago. He's a pretty down to earth dude. I like talking with him for sure. I'm trying
my best to keep him in America. So if anybody listening wants to sponsor Gogo, I'd highly appreciate it because right now I'm funding Gogo and it's getting a little rough out here on these streets.
So I have a question about Howard Davis because today I saw Kai Stewart saying, "Hey, we want the fight. We're waiting on them." And you said, no, you're not waiting on us. You're waiting for BKFC because Howard doesn't turn down fights. We already said we would fight. Yeah. He said, nah, that's not what I'm hearing.
Howard told me he wanted to put on the Orlando card and the Hard Rock card. So that's the type of cycle that I'm dealing with. He's like, no, I'll be fine. I'll just fight on both of them. So he definitely wants to fight. It's just, it's up to them to give me the call. Like, I could tell you this, bro. Nobody that's ever fought for me or trained with me, I don't duck fights. I match up, like coming in December, if everything goes the way it goes, I'm matching up my own guys against each other. You know what I mean? So if you're the best, you got to prove you're the best. You got to fight. Like I manage Vinny Carrillo and I manage Terry Caprio. But that's the fight that needs to happen because one of them got to be the better fighter. One got to be. They both got 1-0s. I can't not fight them just to avoid fighting my guys. So it's like I challenge my fighters amongst each other. So like if it ever came down to it and I had another 45 and Howard's one of my 45s, they'd fight each other. So for no one to ever say my team or any of my fighters duck fights, like we take every fight. I've never said no to a fight.
So there's a guy in the comments. I don't know why he hates you, but Jared,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, but he's saying under Ryan you will dodge everything that you guys are dodging Kai. So I just have to say, like, why would Howard Davis, for real, why would he dodge Kai Stewart, but he didn't dodge his other fights? Like
he fought Jimmy Rivera with a broken hand.
What Jimmy Rivera, who is
with a broken hand,
has some experience in fighting. Like maybe that was his first bare knuckle fight, but he has experience and we know he can be a fucking real killer, and they beat the shit out of each other in that fight. So
what happens is Montana's becoming a big fan base for bare knuckle, right? So they're just coming into the circle of the Mike and Mish show, the other podcasts here and there. So now they're pushing for their guys in Montana, which is respectful. Kai's really popular in Montana. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you just went 5 rounds to a split decision with a guy Howard debuted again and pitched a shutout. So, I mean, it's really like there's levels to it. If you go watch the Kai Stewart versus Howard fight, I mean, sorry, not Kai Stewart, the Rusty Crowder and Howard fight, Crowder never came forward. Crowder ran for his life for 5 rounds. When Kai fought him, they fought to a split decision. Kai already had bare knuckle experience. that was Howard's like second pro fight. His first one was on a dark boxing card, and then that bare knuckle stage against Rusty Crowder at that time, who was like 3-3, who had already 6 bare knuckle fights. And that was like Howard's debut in BKFC was Rusty Crowder. Yeah. So, I mean, he fought a top 5 guy in his debut. So, I mean, there's levels.
So, Ryan, let me ask you this. Why would Howard want to fight? And this is not a shot against Kai Stewart. So whoever you are that's fucking saying all this stuff, this is nothing against Kai Stewart. Why would Howard Davis want to fight Kai Stewart when he just went to a draw with a guy like Jimmy Rivera, who has such a established career coming over from UFC? They put on a banger of a show in Hard Rock. Yep. They went to a draw. So why wouldn't them two fight each other again for the 145 title before Kai Stewart?
I think honestly, Jimmy Rivera, that was a good fight, but I think Jimmy Rivera need to get more fights under his belt because that's disrespect. And to me, it's disrespectful to Rusty Crowder, to all the other 45ers who have been in the game getting fights and losing and winning and this and that, for a guy to come in, fight to a draw, and then get a title shot. Like, to me, that's just disrespectful. Kai Stewart, I got to give him his props. He's won his fights. He's 3-0, I think, right? I'm pretty sure he's 3-0.
Yes.
So, like, bro, like, he's 3-0. Howard's whatever it is, 3-1 with a draw, whatever it is. I mean, he earned his spot. Like, I don't see anything wrong with Kai fighting Howard. I think that's actually a good fight to make. I think they fought different level and different caliber of fighters, but regardless, the records, if we're looking at it on paper, it makes sense. If we're looking at it like who they fought and when they fought them and how, it's just, it's different levels. And I'm not taking anything from Kai. He's tough as fuck because I was right there in Montana when I saw his fight. He's tough. He took a few good shots and he stayed in there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can't take nothing from him, but I just think that if he's ranked like Howard's ranked, he's number 2 or whatever he says he had won, whatever he says he is, then that's the fight that should be made.
And I think he actually showed a lot in the fight because I thought he was losing that fight. And then he came back and won 3 straight to take.
I felt he lost round 1 and 2.
Yep.
And then he actually like adjusted a little bit in the fight to Crowder, and Crowder's tank ran out, and then changed the pace because he is young. You got to give him that. So he's gonna have a tank, but Howard's young too. So I mean, his advantages, and the thing is too, he's a short dude. I don't think he's standing next to Howard yet. He doesn't really know how tall Howard is until you stand next to him. So I think he has to understand that that's a huge disadvantage for him being a wrestler and a guy being 6-something in front of him.
Yeah.
Because if Jimmy Rivera had trouble getting in on him being that tall, I mean, Jimmy didn't have that much trouble because Howard was trying to load up every fucking punch, if I'm honest. But he could have had more trouble with Jimmy could have had more trouble if Howard actually established the jab. So
it's interesting. Very interesting. Now, somebody in the comments says, what about Kai versus Chalbeck? I know that you're in the know. You know things. How come we have not seen John Chalbeck back in a BKFC ring since the
I know he was supposed to fight. From what I heard, he was supposed to fight, and he had like a family emergency. I don't know exactly like what happened in his family, but I know he has some like a death or something in his family that took him out of the last fight. I think he was supposed to fight like in Louisiana or something. So I know that he was supposed to fight, and I don't think it's a lack of him wanting to fight. I think it's more of a lack of people that make sense fighting him. Like, I'm not saying like, I mean, I think Howard would take that fight, but I mean, does it really make sense? Like, like win or lose, does it make sense? Like, what does it prove? He's just not, he hasn't really fought actively in bare knuckle. He's a great fighter and he's tough as shit and he's a good fighter, but I just don't see him being like a factor. Like, I think a Kai Stewart Howard fight is more of a draw than a Howard and Chalbeck fight.
Yeah. And
maybe not for like the hardcore fan. I think a hardcore fan wants to see a Chalbeck Howard fight, but I think the Kai Stewart Howard fight just brings more eyes,
And one more thing I want to ask you that was in the comments here. I can't find it now, but Kevin Smith says go ahead and make the announcement. All right, where the fuck?
He said make the big announcement.
Somewhere in there he said go ahead and make the big announcement. What is he talking about?
All right, well, so just so everybody knows, Kevin and I have decided to partner up. So Smith Brother and Slaughterhouse Management is one of one. So we're on the same team together. So if you're basically a Smith Brothers fighter, you're falling under the Slaughterhouse flag now too. So everybody so Kevin and I are pretty much, working together. It's a partnership now. So Smith Brothers and Slaughterhouse Management fighters are all one big camp.
Holy
wow.
Shit. So you guys got a fucking squad of fighters then, like
that's a stable.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a stable.
So
a quarter of the BKFC roster is now under one umbrella.
Correct. That was the whole idea with Kevin. And I sat down. I told Kevin, I was like, man, you got a lot of fighters, and I got a lot of fighters. You're from Florida. I'm from Florida. I mean, we could really do something when it comes to Florida events and other shows, because we have like you said, we have so many fighters on the roster. And I'm telling you, I got guys that you guys haven't even seen yet because I'm just slowly feeding them in. Like, I got a heavyweight named Block that I know is going to be a fucking problem. I got a bunch of fighters that I'm just keeping in the, in the back. So I don't want like to lose the flair of Jared or lose the flair of Howard or Go. It's just every once in a while I keep feeding Jeremy Smith, Britain's return. So every once in a while I just keep feeding another one. Like this time I'm bringing Rambo and I'm bringing Bryce. So I don't want to like lose the flavor on certain fighters because other fighters are in their weight class and are just as good or even better. You know what I mean?
I love it, man. That's amazing. Congratulations to you guys on the marriage there. And is there going to be a name?
It's really the name. No, I don't really think we're going to get a name. It's going to be like, Slaughterhouse and Smith Brothers, like, figure out how to make a logo that works together. But I mean, it's just his brand is strong, my brand is strong. It just makes sense, and we work well together. So it's easier. Like, I'll give you guys an example. It's easier if, like, when he has a fighter and I have a fighter, if I'm able to just call Kevin and be like, Kevin, what do you think about this fight? You go with it? He called his guy, I call my guy. We figure it all out amongst each other, and then we present it to the upper echelon, you know what I mean? And once it's presented like that, we already present medicals, we present blood work, we present a fight that makes sense, we present numbers on ticket sales, we present all that stuff. It's easier to get a fighter matched up. Like, people think all that shit talking online and doing that Facebook shit is where it's at. That's really not how you're gonna ever get a fight. Like, you have to have your medicals, you have to have your blood work, you have to have all that shit in order. Like, you just can't be online, I want to fight, tagging Nate, tagging Dave. Like, that's not gonna work. Like, you have to literally, there's a process to this. That's why having managers like Kevin and myself, it really helps the situation, because Kevin has a great relationship. I got a great relationship. The reason we did the management, I don't know why Kevin started, but the reason I started was because I seen a benefit in my fighters with the relationships that I had. So I was like, look, if I manage you guys, I get you fights, we work as a team collectively, collectively we sell tickets together, collectively we promote together, collectively. If Britain has 20,000 followers, hey, share Vinny Torino shit, who only has 2,000 followers. Help him get some followers. And collectively, it helps everybody. Like, Travis Thompson is going to come down. I mean, I don't know if he wants me dropping his juice, but Travis Thompson's going to come down and train with me for his next fight. Nice. So, like, but that's a Smith Brothers fighter. So now we're crossing the bridge where, like, he doesn't feel weird coming to work out with me or coming to train with Jared or coming to get rounds with all these people because, I'm not a Slaughterhouse guy, I'm a Smith Brothers guy. No, it's all good. We're all now one big umbrella. So if you're a Smith Brothers guy and you need work, this is where we get work. And if vice versa, if we need work from a specific fighter that's fought somebody, now I could call Kevin and say, Kevin, where can we meet up with this guy to go get rounds for so-and-so? Or where can we get some knowledge from this fighter for this, Yeah. It just works out better if you work together as a team, And Kevin's a lot of people are very narrow-minded in this sport. It's like one direction. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Kevin's not like that. Kevin's very open-minded to new concepts and new ideas. And when I brought it to his attention of, like, what we should do together, he was with it. And we've been running with it behind the scenes now. If I would stay for like a month or two behind the scenes, just matching up fights and seeing how the marriage worked, if, like, we worked well together. And I feel we definitely work good together.
Dude, awesome news. Fucking fantastic. Look out for those guys for sure. Thank you for coming on, Ryan, and filling some space.
For sure, bro.
We appreciate you, and we'll see you out in Denver, huh?
For sure, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, right. Sir. Thanks, later, man.
Later. Bye. Man, that was very cool of him to jump on. We lost Doolittle for tonight, but you know what? Something's been going on with the links that we've been sending out to our guests tonight because Doolittle couldn't get on.
Ryan couldn't get on. I had to send it to his email because the first one didn't work. So I don't know what's going on with the StreamYard links. They owe us money. They owe us money.
God damn it. They owe us money. They're ruining our reputation with these fighters, and we're going to have to go find them. But anyways, we got a guy who made history Saturday night, becoming the second champ on the BKFC roster in the history of their company in an incredibly strange but impressive main event. Here he is, Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt.
Look at him.
He's sleeping over there. He's been waiting.
Oh. Hey, Lorenzo, what's going on, man? Welcome.
Oh.
Hey,
what's up, man? Oh, I'm so sorry about this bullshit. You've been waiting on us for 20 minutes.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I'm fine. You know, the young kids nowadays, they real impatient, you know. Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. How you guys doing today?
Dude, we are great. Thank you for coming on, man. We weren't originally going to have you tonight, but we got in touch today, and it's good to see you here. You did what you said you were going to do. You went out, you went up, you got another belt. Let's talk about this a little bit, man. What was it like down in Monroe and enemy territory once again, and putting on the show that you put on, dude?
It was a good show. It was a good place. I mean, I honestly wish I had a little more game opponent, but Quentin Henry put on the show. He showed a lot of tickets, and his game plan fell through. You know, it didn't work out for him. So, you know, double world champ. Like I said, it was all pageantry anyway. You know, people don't believe me. I'm just that guy that's just talking. You know, nobody believes the juggernaut guy. You know, whatever. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
No, dude, you know what you're doing for sure. You're definitely one of the best you're one of the best fighters in the world in bare knuckle, but you're also probably the best showman on the roster as far as putting on pageantry and putting on a show. From the second you sign a contract to the fucking week after the fight's over, you're still selling this damn thing. The walkout. You had Jade Cargill? Jade Cargill out there with you, AEW champion. The mask with the horns, the walkout with the two belts dragging, like the whole thing. And then you get in the ring and this craziness happens in the ring. First of all, is Jade a friend of yours? I know that you go to a lot of AEW events and you get involved with them. What's up with that?
Yeah, more like family than friends. You know, we're all squad. It's Champ Life, Gold Rush. We're all on it. We're the upper echelon of our organizations, and it's a good thing. You know, it's good to have friends like that. You know.
Nah, you're definitely you're starting to go. I mean, you are the guy that has become a star through bare knuckle. I think that's safe to say. Like, you have become a universal star outside of bare knuckle through bare knuckle, and that I think you might be the first one to actually do that for sure. And now you're bringing more people into bare knuckle, which is great. Which is why Ryan Perez is in the comments right now saying best showman hands down. You're the man for the company. Now, unbelievable walkout, all that stuff. Even the interviews that you did prior to with the American, I'm American, you're American. That was fucking awesome too. You get in there against Quentin Henry. You're in his hometown. Quentin Henry's got 1,000 people there watching. What the hell happened on the floor at the beginning sequence of that fight? It was very strange for us watching. Tell us from your vantage point inside the ring.
Quentin Henry flopped. I had a plan. My plan was to press him and rattle him early on, and then draw the fight down and frustrate him after embarrassing him, after a knockdown or after he grabbed me or after I cut him. I was gonna drag the fight and then go ahead and finish him. Quentin Henry had a plan too. He was going to use my aggression against me and take any opportunity to get a DQ. People don't understand. Anytime Quentin Henry gets into a real fight, he lays down on the ground and plays to the ref. He poked me in the eye. Ah! Y'all forgot already? Well, guess what? The referees didn't forget that he tried to bail out of the Chris Lieben fight, right? And then he does it again. I looked square at him. He caught me. He caught me clean. So when we're going down, we're still fighting. It's like swimming. Like, I don't know if we're up, I don't know if we're down, but we're still swinging. And when I looked at him, I saw his back to the canvas, and I changed it. You can see it. BKFC just posted it. Go look at it. I moved my hand at the last minute, and Quentin Henry flopped like a wrestler, like a foul, like trying to draw a charge. He did like this. And rolled over on his belly and pretended to be knocked out like a fucking coward. Everybody saw it. The Louisiana Commission saw it. You think they would have sided with me if they didn't see that? The doctors saw it. David Feldman saw it. The referee saw it. You think they would have picked up a unconscious man and made him fight? If you think that, you're just another hater. If you think they would have picked up an unconscious man and made him fight, you're just another hater.
Well, they would be in extreme trouble for that being like the first event of that area, and that whole commission. They would have been fucked. The doctor would have been screwed. Like,
man, they would have been on my ass if I had actually bashed Quentin Henry like that and knocked him out. Get out of here, man. Anybody who's mad because they lost money or fell for all that hype that Quentin Henry had did pre-fight when he sold all of those tickets, he tried to quit. He tried to win by a technicality. He tried to draw a foul and get a big check and walk away with one of these. But I got news for you. That's not how you get one of these.
Now, in the comment, Susan Walker says he didn't take the DQ, so the DQ was never. The DQ was never on the table. They were never going to DQ.
Up to him, they walked up to him and said, "Fight or lose." He would have lost because I didn't hit him. Did you hear? Dan said I didn't take a point because the punch never made contact. Go back and watch the replay. They just posted it. You can see me pull my hand back. You can see him fake it.
They put a video up today. It's called Another Angle or something like that. Another view or something like that.
It's called the BKFC highlights.
Yeah, it's
highlights. You can see me move my hand right before it hits him, and he does this with his face like a clown. He tried to draw a charge. He tried to draw a DQ, and it didn't work out in his favor. And it made him fight, and I beat him up. And then I had to make it look good. How many champs that you know can do that? Go back and watch.
I was completely surprised. Were you surprised that he continued?
I let him throw 13 punches in the third round without throwing nothing. And then I knocked him out 5 punches later. How many people you know can do that?
When he continued the fight, were you surprised that he actually said, "Yeah, I'm going to continue the fight," and then fought for 2.5 rounds?
I was there. I watched. David Feldman walked up behind him and said, "Fight or lose." I was right there.
Yeah,
I wasn't surprised.
And that's when he put his mouthpiece in and was like, "Fuck it, let's do it."
He did it before with the Chris Lieben. They tried to get the DQ with the eye poke. They looked at the replay and they said, "Bro, it was a fist. Are you gonna fight or are you gonna take the L?" And then he said, "Fuck it, I'll fight." And then he ran after Chris Lieben and went crazy and got knocked out. Right? Or did I just make that up?
No, that's what I think happened too.
That's exactly what happened. Anytime he's posed with any opposition, he quits. He's only strong when he's winning. There's a lot of guys like that. There's more to being the champ than only being strong when you're winning.
It was one of the craziest sequences of events that we've ever, for sure.
It was odd.
It was crazy.
Definitely was weird.
It was crazy because he made it crazy. And you know what? I don't mind if every one of my fights end in controversy because it keeps people talking. They keep chattering. They keep saying he doesn't deserve it. And I keep piling them up. There's a pile of these bitches in my house.
Do you wish that you didn't throw that at all so that never happened?
Nope.
Because you
got to see his true character. And if I hadn't have thrown that one, and if I hadn't have pulled it, he would have did it again later. Because listen, quiet as kept. You can ask anybody who was in in Louisiana. There was a pool. Everybody's not on Quentin's side. There was a pool. They were gambling on how Quentin would quit. There was a community pool of people I've never met that I don't know. They came to me. They said, there's a pool on how Quentin is going to quit. He's going to fake a knee injury, an eye injury, or something. They told me that before the fight.
Damn.
You know,
People in your own community know you. The people in your own community know you're a cheater and they know you're a quitter.
I did think it. I thought that it was interesting that when you guys had that sit down with Brian Sosha, and he was saying that he has the whole community behind him, and you can't go outside here because these are all my people. And I'm like, didn't he post a fucking like block party there where Lorenzo was out there like amongst 1,000 people, like handing out things? And I'm like, what is he talking? I don't know. I just thought that was weird because he was like, yeah, you can't go around. These are my people. And I'm like,
He has delusions of grandeur. And I tried to talk to him plain and simple when we was at the thing. I said, at the end of the fight, you're going to have to ask yourself which lie that you told yourself about me got you beat up. You're going to have to figure it out because you lied to yourself and you set this fight up. I'm better than you think I am. And you lied to yourself and said I wasn't. You said it was a mistake. You said I got Hector Lombard because I got in his head. You said I beat Joe Riggs. I'm a bum, but Joe Riggs is in his prime. You said a bunch of garbage that got you beat up. He even said that I was in Puerto Rico punching trees for the views on Instagram. Did you see his face? How stupid are you to think that I will wake up at 5:30 every morning and punch trees for the views on Instagram? Look at his face. That's how you wear stupid. That's how you wear stupid.
Man, that hematoma was crazy. Lorenzo, when he came on our show, we asked him about your previous opponents, Joe Riggs and Lorenzo. I mean, and Hector, and how you were able to basically mind fuck them before the fight. He said that he was incapable of being fucked with like that. Do you believe that you successfully got into his head before you fought this fight?
Bro, if I got into his head, it was because when I punched him, his skin moved out of the way and let me inside his fucking brain. I don't have to get in nobody's head. It's a fight. That's from the outside looking in. You got guys walking around banging their chest saying they're the best in the world, like dumbass Mike Richman. And if I say, no, you're not, they say, oh, he's trying to get in my head. He's trying to get in my head. If I say, I knocked out 9 people, they say, oh, he's trying to get in my head. He's trying to get in my head. I'm telling you the fucking truth, you idiot. But you saying I'm trying to get in your head. I told Quentin Henry, I said, you're not ready for this fight. You should have fought a couple more times. They offered him somebody else. They said it just won't be a title fight. He said, no, I want the title. Joe Riggs didn't have to fight for the title. He could have fought anybody in his little town. But no, he wants to fight for the title. And I said, that's a bad idea. You should have just fought anybody, Joe Riggs. No, he wants to fight for the title. You guys think I'm trying to get in these guys' head. I'm just telling them they stupid. Joe Riggs didn't even know my record, but I'm trying to get in his head. He didn't even know.
I will tell you that I think
on the opponent's record.
I think you did, though. You might not think that you are, but you did. You got him when you guys were sitting there with Sosha, and he got up and he took the microphone and was like, "Fuck this, I'm done." And you said you're gonna quit Saturday, just like you quit now.
That was the truth. That wasn't getting in somebody's head. That was the truth. I'm making an honest observation. And people don't like honesty. They like lies. People are in love with lies. For example, the jelly beans that the Easter Bunny leaves are shit turds. Every time he jumps, he leaves a jelly bean. If I say that to you, you think I'm an asshole?
No, I guess so.
Bro, I told him, I said, you're not ready for this fight, Quentin. I'm the best. I'm the champ. You're making excuses for me being the champ. I told him, I said, you guys are like lawyers in a dog fight. I'm fighting and you're talking. Was that a lie? I'm 9-1 and everybody else is pitter-pattering, running their mouth talking about, but technically, you're not the 205 champ.
You beat the 20. I know that whole thing that goes back. So that goes all the way back to before Hector, when everybody knew you were fighting for his title, and then you weren't fighting for his title. So it's just
are serious saying like, oh well, Lorenzo's coming up in weight. This is going to be hard for him. I destroyed the 205 division. I got more 205 fights than 185 fights. If an idiot says that, he's just an idiot.
Right. You fought Rob Morrow the same night that Henry fought Lieben.
Chris Lieben.
Right.
Yep.
Knocked him out. And Rob Morrow was bigger.
He is big.
Than him.
Yeah, that dude's a big boy.
Lorenzo, some people out there say you've never fought at 185. Period. What do you say to those people?
Lawyers in a dog fight. Lawyers in a dog fight.
Yeah. What is next for you, man? You've done everything you said you're going to do so far. Now you have options, like you have this main event coming up in Denver. Those guys are fighting for the interim title of the 185-pound division. You could fight somebody at 205, maybe Trujillo, maybe go up to heavyweight. What's next for the Juggernaut?
The 205 belt is the 205 division is destroyed. I destroyed it before I left. That's why they were so comfortable letting it lay for a whole year. There's nothing been going on in the 205 division except for Quentin Henry. Nobody's close. Trujillo is not entitled contention. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You don't get a pass just because you got a doctor stoppage, a cut lip against me, against the champ. You don't get a title fight. You don't get a big paycheck. You don't get shit unless you fight. You clown. Period. I'm calling the shots. Mike Richman, if Mike Richman beats Doolittle, I'm going to go to 85 and bust his head like a fucking grape. Watch. He'll be in line with the other guys with huge hematomas. If Doolittle wins, I might dap him up and laugh and point at Mike Richman. I might leave it to Doolittle because I like Doolittle. But I can't stand Mike Richman, arrogant, stupid, stinking ass, always talking trash to me. So if Mike Richman wins, I will definitely be defending. Even if I have to vacate the 205 belt, I'll put it on the ground. I'll slam this bitch on the ground like I did the first time. But Mike Richman ain't gonna sit around with no interim belt in my division. And I'll make 185 if I gotta leave and go to Puerto Rico right now. He won't have nothing in his division. When I'm done with him, he'll be gone like Hector. Mike Richman Day is numbered in this company because ain't no champ unless I say so. He should have never said my name.
I can't wait for that.
Can you answer me this? It was like about 2 or 3 weeks ago. David Feldman was on the BKFC, the Bare Knuckle podcast, their official podcast, and he said
Knuckle Show,
the Bare Knuckle Show, and I don't know, they changed the name or whatever. You guys, you were on. He was on there with those guys, and David Feldman himself said that this fight, even though it still says interim on the website, it still says interim on the poster. He says it's for the official. Are you still the 185-pound champ?
I'm still the 185-pound champ. Talk to David Feldman, talk to his son, talk to the commission. They can't do that. You can't take it from me. I'm the active champ. I have to be able to defend. I have to get a shot to defend. I have to get offered a shot. Nobody ever offered me a fight at the 185. They didn't say, hey, fight Richman or fight Doolittle or fight Quentin. They said fight Quentin. And then they put on an interim title fight. They never asked me to defend my title, so I never turned it down. I have rights as champion. I have rights as the champ.
It hasn't been that long either.
Right.
It hasn't been long at all. Johnny Bedford hasn't fought for a long time.
Now, let me tell you what this coward Mike Richman is banking on. He's banking on the fact, well, whatever they told him in order to sell him on the interim garbage. Oh, when he becomes the champ, they told me they're going to take the title from him. Wrong, idiot. What they're going to do is force you to defend, force me to defend. Duh. Sorry you didn't see that coming. So now you got to fight me. Set your stupid ass up just like Hector Lombard thought that he could become the champ and not have to fight me. It's just stupidness, man. And you think I'm trying to get in people's head. You're being stupid. If I say, pull your pants up, buddy, you don't have any drawers on. That's stupid. I can see your stupid ass. That's stupid. Like, bro, you took an interim title in my shit a month, 2 months after I bust Joe Riggs' eardrum and broke his ribs. And you brought your little ass and took an interim title thinking what? They're going to take the belt from him and just make me the champ.
Well, I can tell you right now, I don't know what you're leaning towards. I think you're leaning towards that if Richmond wins. I can tell you that, Lorenzo, you've always been our biggest view getter. Like, you draw the biggest crowd, the biggest numbers, and that thing with you and Mike Richman is at 1.1 million right now.
Listen.
And that to me means that a lot of people want to see
people
that
still
fight.
commenting on it today.
Listen, a lot of people want to see it. Do you remember when I stood in the ring with Hector Lombard and for the first time you saw us next to each other and it dawned on you like, oh no, he's not supposed to be in that weight class. One day shortly, you will see me and Mike Richman, and then everybody will go, oh no. Oh no, this is going to be bad. It is what it is because arrogant, goofy ass fighters don't think. They just want to fight. So now we get to put on a big show. I hope if Doolittle beats Mike Richman, I'll just laugh his ass out the building because Lord have mercy. Nobody wants to see me fight Doolittle. But Mike Richman, yeah, we can do a big show for the 185 belt, Knucklemania, and all of the Marines and all the armed services will come out to see me fuck him up.
You're going to be in Denver, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Good. That's really
yes,
good.
I'll be there. Of course I'll be there. First class ticket. It's already booked. Of course I'll be there. Do you think they wouldn't book me?
If you weren't there, that would be a travesty.
Do you think
Really
they
would be.
wouldn't book me? After such an impressive showing against Quentin Henry, after such an amazing knockout, just bang, lay down and go to sleep. You big baby.
It's
Bro, what I'm gonna do?
You know what's gonna be weird? Hold on, before you talk. Is this like the first time when have they ever had an interim title fight going on in the ring when the reigning champion is sitting outside the ring holding the actual belt?
Wow.
Has anybody ever seen that before? I'm just
listen.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I'll tell you when I seen something similar happen. When Hector Lombard fought Joe Riggs, Hector Lombard was 2-0.
And you were outside the ring?
Yeah.
2-1. And I was 6-1. And they were fighting for my belt. kind of the same stupid ass shit.
Yeah, I mean, like anytime anything like that's ever happened before, the current champ was injured and unable to
Do
fight.
I look injured and unable?
That's what I'm saying. That just it is strange. It's
Right. So listen, it creates a super fight. Whatever. Mike Richman thinks that I couldn't make that I'll have trouble making 185. When I fought Hector Lombard, we had a contracted weight. They removed that contract and gave me a new contracted weight, which I made. Blame the company. Then when I fought fucking Joe Riggs was 185.5. When I weighed in, I was 185.9. They said, do you want to go cut it, or are you guys okay with this? How many of you know about combat sports? It's an agreed contractual weight. Stop kissing the UFC's ass thinking the same rules apply to BKFC. It
happens all the time.
The UFC. This is not high school wrestling. Their rules aren't our rules. When Joe Riggs was 185.5, they looked to the champ and said, is that okay? And then I weighed in and they said 185.9. You can go cut it or you can fight. Fuck it. It's okay, Joe. Okay, it's okay. And then you guys try to make me out to be the asshole because nobody wants to see me swinging these hammers around and winning and saying shit like God is black.
Okay, let me ask you this. Since you brought that up, I believe you believe everything you say, but do you truly believe the world is flat, Lorenzo? Come on.
All right. So here, I'll address that since you're the only person to ask me. So I'm an open-minded free thinker.
Mm-hmm.
What I do believe is that I can't prove that it's not. And I can't prove that it's round. The only thing I have is to trust the assholes that told us COVID vaccine was safe. Yeah. I have to trust the assholes that told us the Aztec Indians were eating people while they were building fucking pyramids. I have to trust the assholes that told us everything we think we know.
Yeah.
I have to trust them. The same guys that gave the fucking syphilis to the Tuskegee to the Tuskegee experiments, we have to trust them. So I have to trust the same guys that put the fucking moon landing out there.
Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah, you can't fucking prove it. You can't prove it.
There's a lot of lying going on, I'll tell you that.
Photoshop. So when somebody tried to explain to me their theory about the world being flat, I was open-minded enough to challenge the shit I thought I knew. Why the fuck do I think the world is round? Who told me that? So I thought about it. Just like when you look at the globe, America's bigger than Africa. Who the fuck told you that?
I've seen that before.
Europe was bigger than Mexico.
Alaska is bigger. They had like Alaska bigger than fucking like almost South America.
so as a free thinker, when we start to grow up, right? The same people told me God was white and nobody flinched about a white God in Africa. Nobody said shit. If you say God is white, everybody's like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, he's blue-eyed and he's got long fucking hair.
And his name's Bob.
And you get on your knees and you pray and he'll give you shit. Nobody flinches. If I say, well, he's black. Oh my God.
I actually think that Jesus was Middle Eastern, right? But I always thought God was like some entity, like some floating light or some shit.
Whatever. I'm just saying. Santa Claus. Santa Claus is white too, right? Like, come on, man. Like, stop the like.
Well, I'm Santa Claus, and he's Santa Claus.
There's a lot,
and you're Santa Claus,
and you're Santa Claus too.
You hear what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that are mad, just like the chick with the mermaid shit. It's like a black mermaid. Oh my God, no, it can't be a black mermaid. It can't. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you? It's fiction.
Yes, there is some
Oh,
really
have mercy.
odd bullshit
Don't
that happens every
let
day.
them make Superman black. Oh no! Oh my God! There'll be a riot in the street. Superman can't be black. It's a fictional character. Why is everybody so bent out of shape? If it doesn't matter.
Because people get bent out of shape about everything. About everything. We were
So-
talking
They
about it
do.
earlier with the weights,
that-
right?
With
Everyone's all bent out of shape.
with that being said, I'm gonna explain my logic. I'm gonna explain my logic. Hear me out. Just you can clip this. The world is flat because you can't prove it's not. God is black because you can't prove it's not. And ain't no champ unless I say so, because you can't prove me wrong.
I think we got
I'm not
it.
arguing with you, okay?
I think we got it, Lorenzo. We appreciate you every time you come on here, man. Another stellar performance by you all the way through this, from the fight camp to the fight week to the post-fight, everything. Once again, you deliver. We will all be tuned in. We will see you out in Denver, but everybody will be tuned in to Denver's main event to see if your next opponent will be Mike Richman. And man, thank you very much for coming on here short notice. If you have any final words, I think you kind of just delivered it, but if you have any final words, this is your chance.
America, you can't be more American than me, because I was born here too, goddammit. If I'm not American, you not American. If you not American, I'm not American. We ain't American, but goddammit, I'm American. So if you American, I'm American. We American.
America. Thank you, Lorenzo. We'll talk to you, buddy.
All right.
Later, man.
There he is, the juggernaut, the champ, Lorenzo Hunt. Man,
America.
Fuck yeah. America. Fuck yeah.
Well,
I mean, I think he addressed pretty much everything that anybody had to ask about that this weekend. Dude, I mean, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the main event in Denver.
Oh yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, if it is Richman on the winning end of that fight, we got ourselves a super fight. Unfortunately, and I don't know if he meant it, he's not interested in fighting Doolittle. So if Doolittle wins, I don't know what happens then. Maybe Lorenzo turns walks away from the 185-pound division altogether and just stays focused on 205 and heavyweight. But guys, a couple fights were announced. We have a co-main event that was announced for Orlando. Mike, do we have the graphic for that?
Yes,
our buddy.
It's in here somewhere. Boom.
Our buddy, First Response. Both of our buddies, man.
Yeah, that's correct.
We got our two buds, Jay Jackson and Jared Warren. Two good dudes, really good fighters, skilled fighters at 185 pounds. We'll be throwing down in Orlando at the Caribe Royale.
That's a good one right there, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a banger right there. Those guys both know how to fight. They know how to sling them freaking mitts, and they both hit very hard. So, I mean, and you know what? They could both take damage and drive through it. Both of those guys have shown in their fights that they could face adversity and battle through. They're two very formidable opponents. That should be a banger right there.
Yeah, Jay Jackson has one of my favorite fights. Knuckle. Yes. And
then the other one, Ryan Perez, who was nice enough to pop on with us tonight, talked about it. Joey Beltran. And this is taking place November 18th, BKFC 33 in Omaha, Nebraska. You got Joey Beltran traveling down to the 205 Cruiserweight division to fight Houston Alexander. Now, this sets up an interesting future here. I don't know how many more fights Joey has in him or Houston Alexander, but Lorenzo just talked to us about how the Cruiserweight division is dead, how he ran through, nobody's left for him there.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say Gustavo Trujillo, but
yeah, that would be the one argument I would make would be him right now.
As we have talked about, Gustavo Trujillo's last 2 fights were at heavyweight. He has not fought in cruiserweight division in a while. So with that,
it's been quite some time.
With that, dude, does this
February 2020, I believe.
Yeah, so it's been over 2.5 years since he's fought in the cruiserweight division. Now, if Joey Beltran and Houston Alexander go out there and Joey goes out and puts out on an impressive performance against Houston Alexander, yes, Joey's coming off the knockout loss. He's coming off back-to-back losses in heavyweight against Arnold Adams and Frank Tate. Does a win at 205 put him in the talk about
for a title immediately?
Would you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think so. I think that he would probably have to fight one more time, because if Trujillo is then there, that would set up a solid fight, right? But a lot of people would be like, oh no, Gustavo's going right for the belt for Lorenzo. So like, that's what makes it difficult.
So maybe
you just don't know now, with this sport being still very young, like we say a lot, but it's really still there. There's not a lot of depth here with many people. So he could go right to the belt because he's a former champion, but then you have Trujillo and maybe he fights first, or maybe he doesn't. And then they fight each other. Who the fuck knows?
You all are triggering me, big boy. We're trying to trigger you.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
You never know what's going to happen.
What would you like us to do? Not talk about possibilities? Would you like us to ignore the fact that Joey Beltran is going to 205 and fighting Houston Alexander, and we just talked to the 205-pound champ, and he doesn't have an opponent because he just talked about how the whole division's dead? I mean, we could not talk about it if you don't want us to, big boy.
Well, so the thing with Lorenzo, though, is he's not going to stay at 205 right now. He's going to probably go and fight Richman next. But we know how he is. And if he can't fight him soon enough, I think he just automatically tries heavyweight or fights Gustavo. Like, it's going to happen.
You know what fight would be fucking awesome? And I mean, I don't know how this fight would happen. Maybe Alan Belcher. If Alan Belcher was to beat Arnold Adams, if that was to happen, Alan Belcher in his size and style, and him and Lorenzo would be a fucking phenomenal fight. Don't you think? Alan Belcher and Lorenzo Hunt would be a fantastic fight, except for the fact that Alan, I believe he has a title fight lined up with Arnold Adams. I don't know. I thought that was a thing, but we haven't heard anything.
No.
Man, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.
We need to see Arnold Adams by the end of the year, right? Like we have to see him before
we gotta
the year is over.
We got to get Scott Farley on the horn and find out when the hell that fight's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit should have been announced by now. But anyways, man, awesome talking to Mike Richman as always.
Yep.
Thank you to Ryan Perez for jumping on and making that announcement about Smith Brothers and Slaughterhouse combining forces to make like a super group down there in Florida. You guys know that, Smith Brothers has a lot of killers over there, including 4 of them that are going to be on this upcoming card: Mike Richman, Jake Lindsay, Bubba McDaniel, and Melvin Gillard, but many more. And then we all know about the Slaughterhouse stable with Perez and Brian Duran and Gogo and the Beltrans and you name them. That's going to be, see, Marty Watts, picking up what I'm putting down,
but
it would be epic. So congratulations to them on that conglomerate that they just put together. Fucking awesome. And then shout out to Lorenzo for giving us a little bit of time, a couple days after making some history. It's great talking to all of them. Of course, tomorrow night we have 3 more guests lined up. I don't know. Do we even have a graphic for this? No, probably not.
Not for all 3, but we do have I have this.
We have that. We're going to have both of those fighters on tomorrow night. We're going to start the night off with Crystal Pittman at 9:00. At 9:20, we will have Courtney Cameron. And then after these 2, we're going to get Noah Cutter. That was successful in his fight this past weekend in Monroe, Louisiana, against a guy that looked like he was about 1.5 feet taller than him. Noah Cutter will come on after the ladies tomorrow night. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Before we go, one more time, shout out to the boys over at Guerrilla Warfare Apparel. They are putting out custom stuff for all their fighters, man. They got Misfit, they got Reber, they got Lights Out, freaking James Lilly, they got
Soto.
Tony Soto, Angel Core. I feel like they just announced a couple more fighters, and I can't remember.
Did you say Faria?
I said Misfit. Yeah, Misfit.
So doing big things.
Doing big things. Go over there.
They got that BJJ girl wearing the shorts, you know?
Yeah.
Can't forget her. She doesn't even fight for BK, but
they're reaching outside the bare knuckle world. And go to their website, guerrillawarfareapparel.com. Use promo code Mike and Mish. Get 10% off your purchase. With that said, Mike, you got anything else for these peeps?
See you tomorrow night.
Peace.